football. I like to play golf with my friends. I've got a almost 10-month-old baby at home named Henry, so I like to play with Henry. My wife and I love to go out to eat together. I did, yeah. I started playing football when I was in 3rd grade. I played flag football. And I played all the way through. I played high school football at Bell High School, and then I played 2 years of college football at Central College. So the job I do here today is I'm the sales manager for a roofing company here in Iowa. So we put on roofs for people's houses. We put on roofs for buildings like schools and other things like that. And so I'm in the sales department, so I help basically sell the projects that we're trying to do. That's a great question. I have a few inspirations for coaching. So there's a lot of family members in my family that coach. So my mom's dad, so my grandpa on my mom's side, he was a football coach in Iowa, high school football coach for a long time, for like 40 years. So I always, at Christmas and when I see him on holidays and things like that, we'd always talk about football. My dad was a high school football coach for about 20 years, which was really fun because I got to play for him when I was in high school. And then my dad's brother, my uncle, he was a college football coach. So I watched those three a lot growing up, and they were really inspiring for me. Transitioning from assistant to head coach, I think, well, for one, there's a lot more administrative things to do. So when you're the assistant coach, you're really focused on your specific task, which is usually mostly limited just during practice. Like I show up for practice, I coach, and I go. When you're the head coach, you think about all sorts of things, like the proper equipment, the fundraising we need to do, all the students have the proper documentation, like a physical form and things like that. So there's kind of, you're not just thinking about the 2 hours at practice, you have to think about, okay, what are all the things that we need to know from there? So I'd say that's the biggest adjustment. So my goals outside of football? Yeah, that's great. I think one of the things I think about is just providing for my family. So now being married and having a kid, that's just more responsibilities than when it's just me. So I think, I try to work hard at my job every day because I want to be able to provide for them. I think the biggest thing, I was just talking with someone about this, is I want to like give my time and my talents and my gifts to serve other people. Like when you get old and you look back on your life, I don't think I'll think about like how much money I made or things I accomplished. I will think about the people I impacted and the ways I served others. So that's something I think about every day.
How has football changed me? So I think the two big things I've learned from football is, number one, you can't do things alone. So football is the ultimate team sport where there's big guys and there's little guys and there's fast guys and there's slow guys, and everybody plays a unique role, and you have to do your job and you also have to trust someone else to do their job. And so I think learning how to be on a team has been a great lesson for me. I think the other thing is that there's this you learn how to stick with something because it's hard. Like there's hard things about playing football, the elements, the physicality of the game, all of those things. And so if you go out for football and you stay out for football and you complete a football career, along the way you learn how to be resilient.
Right.
Okay, this is hard, I'm going to keep working. Like This is my 7th year coaching. So I coached for 1 season at Pell Christian High School, which is a small high school in my hometown. And then I've coached this will be my 6th year at East. So I've been at East basically since I was out of college. What I love about East is, number one, they're the underdog. So East, the last 20 years, has had some challenges just in terms of being successful on the field. I mean, there's definitely been some years where they've had some really, really good teams. But by and large, the on-field success hasn't been the same as maybe some other schools in our city. And that was attractive to me of like, okay, can I come here and help and try and improve our program to be at the level that some other programs are at? The other thing I really like about East is I feel like there's a lot of untapped potential. Like I feel like there's so much like physical talent. There's just some awesome kids, and if you can come in and provide a good environment for them, and show them how to play the game, show them how to be a team, the potential of what could be is really exciting for me. So that drew me to East for sure. Some goals for the upcoming season. There's 3 things that I'm focused on in year 1. The first thing is participation. So I want to get as many people as possible out for football. I'd love to see well over 100 kids out for football across freshmen through senior. So that's something I'm really focusing on. Can we build relationships with our feeder schools, our middle schools, our elementary schools? Can we, recruit our own hallways? Are there kids who walk the hallways of East that could be football players, but nobody's asked them? So I want to get our participation up for sure. The second thing I'm focusing on is our academics. So I want to make sure we don't have anybody who's failing any classes. I want to make sure our kids are going to class. At the end of the day, the vast majority of people who play high school football don't play football beyond high school. And so I want to make sure we're setting them up, do they want to go to college? Do they want to go into the workforce? Do they want to go to trade school? Whatever they want to do, it starts with building good academic habits. And so that's a big focus in year 1 is, okay, let's set the culture of what we want our academics to be. And then my last focus and goal, I would say, is the line of scrimmage. So we need to improve at the point of attack. So our offensive line, our defensive line, our linebackers, our tight ends, our fullbacks, anybody who's at the line of scrimmage when the ball is snapped, that's where football is won and lost. And the way you improve at the line of scrimmage is really in the weight room. So it's getting stronger, it's getting bigger, it's developing a mindset of, hey, we're not going to get beat. And I think a lot of that happens in the weight room. So those are the 3 things that I think about in this first year for football. That's a good question. I really don't spend a lot of time thinking about like what has been. I think there's been some great things, there's been some not so great things. My focus is on what we want to become moving forward. And so I don't spend a lot of time thinking about or talking about prior coaching or the old way we've done things or whatever. Everybody's got their way of doing things, and so I just want to cast a compelling vision of what I think we could be, and I think that's proven to be attractive to kids. So I'm just talking to people about, hey, here's what I want our program to be, here's what I think we could be, here's why I think you play a role in that, and I think a lot of our student athletes have been responding to that so far. The long term for East, I kind of go a little bit, I go back to those first 3 priorities. Is I think my hope is that you'll see football has by far the most athletes out for the sport amongst all of our sports. I want football, anyone who's a young man or even a young woman in our school district, want them to want to play football because of the fun we're having having, because of the accountability that we bring, because of the success we have, because it makes people better, people, all of those reasons. That's what I want to see in the long term. I want East football to lead the charge in our school. So I want it to be the new norm that our football program, our student athletes are going to class. They're the ones getting good grades. They're the ones behaving themselves in the hallways and at other sporting events and those types of things. Like, I want the football program to set the tone for what the whole school is going to be in a positive way. You know, two things come to mind with that question of what I want from the players. First and foremost, I want them to be themselves. There are just some amazing young men in our program, and they don't need to be anything other than themselves. Some of the kindest, funniest, hardest working, like all of those qualities, we don't need to create them. They already exist in our kids. And so that's the first thing, is I want them to be them, and I'm going to encourage them. You be you, because who you are is great. So I think that's number one. And then number two is, my challenge to every individual is to become the best version of yourself. So I'm not interested in comparing one player to another player, or comparing our team to that team. Or the only thing I'm going to say to our guys is, what's the best you can be, and go be that every single day. And for one kid, being the best they can be, maybe that's playing on the scout team. For another kid, the best they can be, maybe that's getting a scholarship to play football. Whatever that is, if you're reaching your fullest potential, that's a success. So that's my encouragement to our guys. Yeah, that's a good question. I think I guess a final comment I'd make about the football program is, my hope is that the football program is something our whole school can rally around. So whether you're out for football or not, like, I love the idea on Friday night, everybody's there. Like, the cheerleaders play a role, the band, they play a role, the student section plays a role, the football players play a role, the managers, like, there's so many people who can be a part of the football experience. And my hope is that the school will rally around what we're trying to do in the football program. So that would be one thing. In terms of a quote, something, I've got a little thing hanging up in my house that I think about, and I'm gonna butcher the quote, but I'm gonna try and give it to you. Is it says something like, if you want to build a boat, don't assign people tasks. How does it go? If you want to build a boat, don't drum up people and assign them tasks, but teach them to long for the endless immensity of the sea. Which is kind of a frilly quote, but what I like about that is, like, if we're trying to have a great football program, if you're trying to do anything, and you just start saying, okay, OSHAY, you're gonna do this, GABE, you're gonna do this, like, let's go, but you don't understand why you're doing it, it's hard to be motivated. But if I want to be great at something and I get you to catch on to the vision of what we're doing, that's exciting. And now we can start divvying out what needs to be done, but it starts with that foundation of, I've got a belief, I've got vision in what we're trying to do. So that's something I think about. That's a quote that I live by.